Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful week so far. I feel like I still haven't recovered from Meghan's win, but then it's like the British press won't let us recover, but I'm not going to stop celebrating. But on to today's video. So one of the biggest revelations in the Oprah interview was that it was not Meghan that made Kate cry, that it was Kate that made Meghan cry. And there really is just no forgiveness for the fact that Kate sat back and watched Meghan be ripped to shreds for such a ridiculous lie, and she has said absolutely nothing about it since. And as Meghan said in the interview, Kate did send her an apology note and some flowers, so she has evidence that this would have happened. She has said nothing about the fact that she let another woman be ripped to shreds by the public, suffer silently through her pregnancy, and this is someone who has the nerve to talk about early childhood development and show up to a dead woman's vigil and claim that she knows what it's like to be a normal woman out late at night. Like, what the hell? You literally let your sister-in-law be ripped to shreds by the British public. Something that has always amazed me though is that when that headline, Meghan made Kate cry, came out, the level of sympathy that came out for Kate, I just couldn't understand it, because this is meant to be the future's queen consort, who was alleged to have been crying over bridesmaids' dresses. Not even over anything that serious, over bridesmaids' dresses. God forbid the country goes to war, she will climb under the mattress and refuse to come out. Because even if in some parallel universe Meghan had made Kate cry, it still would have made her look petty and weak. So even for the sake of saving her own image, she should have come out and denied it, because Meghan actually had a reason to cry. She was being unsupportive of her sister-in-law during a time when she was suffering. And yes, it did kind of center around this whole issue with the bridesmaids' dresses, but I can imagine the tears came from the fact that she just felt unsupported at a time when she was going through a lot of things. Otherwise, it probably would have just been a silly tiff and everybody would have moved on. But even for the sake of saving her own image, Kate should have come out and denied it, but they were able to spin it so well into Meghan being a mean person, and she was able to weaponize her tears that no one even stopped to ask, why is the future queen consort crying over bridesmaids' dresses when it concerns someone else's wedding? People were so ready for any reason to throw Meghan under the bus, they didn't stop to analyze how ridiculous this is. And now, because of Meghan's win, they are trying to rehash this story and retell the story. Listen, there is literally no version of this story, no matter how much they try to spin it, that makes Kate look good. Every version makes her look like a woman child who can't deal with her emotions, and I can't understand why the palace and press keep trying to push this narrative. To the palace staff of KP, if you are watching this video, we know you don't work much, so you must have time to watch videos from Meghan's fans. It makes Kitty Cat look messy. Instead of putting this whole thing to bed, it's come back up again. And they're still trying to push this as part of their distraction campaign. And so, in reaction, the squad on Twitter started the hashtag made Kate cry, and started fishing for articles and receipts of other times the royal rodents claimed that Kate cried. And there are a few. It's the same nonsense with incandescent raging William. Like, why do they think this makes him look good, strong and masculine? Because it doesn't. It makes him look like he needs therapy and social services should check up on the kids, because he's always angry, and if she's always weeping and crying, the whole darn family needs help. This is why I tell you, those courtiers still live in the 1800s. They think that showing William as brutish and Kate as some delicate flower will do some good, and it doesn't. I think that Kate is the product of people with their own agendas, and she's never been able to become her own person. Her mother wasn't content with her just being a normal rich aristo, and I think she would have lived a much happier life if she had just married some random rich guy. That wasn't good enough. She had to get the future king of England. Then and she spent over a decade chasing William. Then she managed to bag him, entered the firm, and was moulded to shrink herself by stuffy courtiers, and then has had to shrink herself even more to deal with the husband of hers and this toxic environment in which she lives in. Then Meghan came onto the scene and she went in full-on identity crisis, because now she's trying to play catch up with Meghan, who already has an established career and accomplishments and has been doing the work literally since she was a kid. I think with Meghan, once the attack started, she made the decision that the younger generation is where it's at, and her and Harry picked their audience and they've stuck to it. They're not trying to play the younger generation and the older stuffy royalists, which is the rock and a hard place that I think Kate and William are stuck between. I think that Meghan understands that being a new age royal woman also means using your privilege to help others. Kate, even if she wanted to be otherwise, cannot speak to the majority of modern young women without stepping on royalist toes who want her to be dull, muted, and a clothing mannequin. And it's almost as if the press just get a kick out of writing the most ridiculous and misogynistic articles about her. I mean, they had a whole darn article on her eyebrows. But then again, what else would they have to write about? They can't write about her projects because there aren't really many. And even after all these years, she still finds it very difficult to engage in public speaking with strength and conviction that you would expect from a future Queen Consort, and hasn't really been able to deliver anything in regards to her early years project. All we got was a survey and a few press appearances here and there. Then there was the debacle with First Lady Jill Biden, where she struggled to answer questions, did an op-ed for CNN that didn't really make the news, then got shaded by the tabloids, who I think were trying to send her a message, don't get too cozy with Democrats. So it backfired, and I think Dr. Biden also realised that she was being used for a photo op. I honestly don't understand why, having had 3 children, Kate wouldn't get involved in something like this a lot earlier. And it's just interesting, is all I can say, that this really only came about after Meghan came on the scene. The PR people in the palace need to find her something that she actually enjoys doing. And if showing up in coat dresses and doing Mary Poppins cosplay is her main thing, well then why not get her supporting young and up-and-coming designers? Or reinvigorating the manufacturing and clothing industries in Britain. That would be a great cause. Heck, I would even back that. Bring jobs back to the country. Isn't that what Brexit was for? How am I sitting here and thinking of better ideas than the whole darn institution? It's because they lack any amount of innovation. Kate and William keep trying to play catch up with Harry and Meghan, and the reality is that they really have to start over. They have to stop playing catch up and start over. And unfortunately, that could take a whole darn decade to renew and revamp their image, which is already very damaged because they look like heartless, soulless bullies. And let's face it, they don't have the humility to say sorry for what they've done. They don't have the patience to rebuild their image. And it would appear that because they're being held at ransom by the British press, they don't even have control of themselves. Somebody wrote in the comment section in another one of my videos that it's almost as if the whole institution and this whole circus of the press, the institution, projecting this image, it's like it's all become bigger than itself. Nobody's really at the wheel. They're all fighting for the wheel, trying to take the car in a million different directions, all concerned and invested in their own selfish interests. And so we continue on this downward spiral, and I don't think that is going to end anywhere good for the royals, especially for Kate and William. That's all for today's video, my lovelies. See you on the next one. Ciao.